Have you found yourself wondering, is my team really ready for where this business is going? Not because they're not talented or loyal, but because the next stage of growth requires a completely different level of leadership. It's a question many founders ask themselves, just not out loud. And what they're really asking is, have I prepared my leaders for what's coming next? After nearly 30 years in executive HR and now working alongside founders and leadership teams, I've realized something. Most businesses don't struggle because they lack opportunity. They struggle because growth changes everything. The business evolves, the expectations evolve, and your leaders have to evolve too. One of the biggest mistakes I see founders make is promoting people because they've been there since the beginning or because they're incredibly loyal. And honestly, I understand it. I get it. These are the people that believed in you from day one. They worked the long hours, they wore multiple hats, they helped build the company. Of course, you want them to grow with the business. I would too. But here's where it gets complicated. Managing five people is very different from leading 50. The role changes, the conversations change, the expectations change. Leadership becomes less about doing the work and much more about developing the people, making strategic decisions, and influencing across the organization. If we don't prepare our leaders for that transition, we're setting them up to fail. And I think this is where founders struggle the most. Most founders already know when someone is struggling. They're smart, they're very analytical, and they can usually tell whether someone is ready for the next level. The hard part isn't recognizing that, it's having the conversation. So instead, they try to avoid it or they hope things will get better on their own because loyalty matters. And those conversations are very difficult. But here's something I strongly believe in: not everyone who struggles in a bigger role is in the wrong role. Sometimes they simply have not been given the tools to succeed. One of the first things I look at is motivation. When you provide coaching, when you set clear expectations, when you give someone the opportunity to develop, how do they respond? Are they eager to learn? Do they accept the feedback? Do they put the work in? Because in my experience, people who genuinely want to grow will often surprise you. Now, let's be realistic. Not everyone that grows can grow into every role. Sometimes, even with coaching and the proper support, the role simply is not the right fit, and that's okay. The goal isn't to force someone into a position where they can't succeed. It's to make fair, objective decisions based on capability, not assumptions, emotions, or loyalty alone. Sometimes that means development. Sometimes it means moving someone into a role where they can thrive. And sometimes it just means recognizing that the business has outgrown the fit. At Envision HR, we help founders build a foundation to make these decisions with confidence, not based on emotion, not based on guesswork, but through objective assessments, leadership development, and a clear process that is fair to both the business and the employee. Because when people know what is expected, they have the tools needed to improve and are evaluated fairly, everyone wins. This actually brings me to the framework we use with our clients. It's called the GROW framework, GROW. It's a practical approach to helping businesses scale through people. Whenever a founder faces a challenge like this, we walk through these four steps. G, gain perspective. Take an honest look at where your business is today and what the next stage of growth will require. R, recognize the reality. Be honest about your leadership team's strengths, gaps, and capabilities that the business has outgrown. O, own the work. As leaders, it's our responsibility to provide development, set expectations, and create the systems that will help people succeed. W, win through your people, because sustainable growth does not happen by hiring more people. It happens by developing the right people and giving them the tools that they need to succeed. So I'll leave you with this. Have you prepared your leaders for the company that you're becoming? Or are you expecting yesterday's skills to solve tomorrow's challenges? It's not an easy question, but it's one that every founder eventually has to answer. Drop your thoughts or experiences in the comments. And next week, we're going to continue this conversation by answering another important question. How do you know whether your leaders need development or whether your business has simply outgrown the role that they're in? We'll talk about the warning signs, how to assess leadership potential objectively, and why the goal should not be to replace good people, but to give them every opportunity to grow with the organization, because that's how you build a business that scales. Until then, remember, growth does not happen by accident, it happens by design. And behind every business problem, there's a people problem worth solving. I'll see you next time on Real Talk Behind the People Problem.